Hi guys, just getting the numbers up and then I'll start. Hi Lauren, hi Dan. Hello Richard-Lael Lillard. Twelve, 13 people. Hi Nick, hi Jojo, hi Rosie. Ooh. Hi Lucia. Okay then guys, good evening. I'm Sarah, team member to Portal to the Paranormal, and today is Thriller Thursday. Now Thriller Thursday, as I have advertised, it's all about telling your own ghost stories. Hopefully when COVID is over we can get back out there and do some investigating and go and visit all these marvellous houses and Victorian manors and castles, but at the moment we just have to entertain ourselves, so that's what we're up to right now, getting in the mood. I've created a bit of atmosphere, Lauren, a bit of spooky music. Okay then, so I think we'll get started. As I mentioned, this is all about sharing your ghost story. So I'm going to pull a few of you on camera and we can chat about your experiences and things that's happened to you. But we do have a very special guest tonight. All the way from New York City, we have Richard, I do apologise, I hope I pronounced your name right, Richard-Lael Lillard. I'll just see if I can get him on. Oh, I'm going to add him right now. Add. Hope you're...
Hello, darling.
Hello. I'm sorry, I do seem a bit starstruck. Hi.
So lovely to see you.
Oh,
and you said my name very well.
Oh,
Richard-Lael Lillard, yes.
Yes, it's very nice. Is that French by any chance?
Well, it is French, actually. A long, long time ago, my ancestors were the Huguenots that left France to settle in the New World. This would have been about the 1640s. So the name has undergone several incarnations. It used to be British. It used to be an English name. It used to be, perhaps you've heard of the Lollards.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were Lollards back in the day.
Oh, wow. Very posh.
Well, we were heretics. You know?
And now you're back to your homeland. I hear that you've moved back to New York.
I am in New York. Not quite New York City. I'm about an hour and a half from there, but I am in New York, and I love it so much.
Oh.
Because I've been for over a decade living in California. So there's snow, and it's lovely. It's so charming.
Yeah, I've seen some of your photos. It's beautiful, lovely, lovely, very relaxing, I assume. So.
Oh, it's so nice. I mean, it's a small town. Tiny, but there it is. I am living in a beautiful haunted house, even now. So the house is, I don't know exact date, but 1880s, I would assume. But it's very haunted, and even the neighbors have contacted me to tell me how haunted this is in particular.
I did see you did a little show around, and it looks very. Is it 17th century? Would you say? Did you say it was?
More 19th, but there's a lot of 17th century spirit, like the architecture is is late Victorian, but there's a lot of very 17th, 18th century style to it.
I was going to ask you, Richard-Lael, you've got a gift, haven't you? You're a medium and a psychic.
I am a medium. I used to be a small, but I gained some weight.
Well, no, you look very handsome to me.
Oh, thank you, but I'm making a joke.
Oh, I've seen the photos. I'm a regular stalker of your Facebook. I like your style. It's not just that, you're very creative, and the way you did your old apartment, oh, it was brilliant. It's very gothic, isn't it? It was, so I say.
It is very gothic Victorian. That's kind of where I sort of find myself, as sort of in the realm of the height of the spiritualist movement, and good company with Aleister Crowley and Madame Blavatsky and Sarah Winchester, you know, to name a few of the sort of late Victorian occultists. But yeah, it was lovely. I do have kind of a funny story about the decor of my previous place, if we have a little moment. Yeah. So the place, as you know, I like to tell people I decorate an early American funeral home. So it's, you know, it's a little bit dark, it's a little bit scary for some people, but this was, you know, goodness, years ago now, but I had met this fellow online, and we were chatting back and forth. It was just, you know, chatting, and he says, okay, now I want to meet you, after months of communicating. And I said, okay, it's dark outside, and I'm allowed to handle in the daylight much more so at night. And he goes, no, it's fine. I have to meet you. And I said, okay. So he comes over, and his eyes are like saucers, and he goes, oh, wow. I sensing what he was feeling. I said, yes, it's an old house. And he goes, and big gulp, you know. And he says, your house is kind of weird. And I went, yeah, it's Gothic Victorian. That's what it is. And he goes,
it's not weird. It's beautiful.
He said, I have to get out of here. I have to leave. I have to get out. I went, okay, there's the door. Get out.
So tell us more about your gift then, please, would you, Richard-Lael? Would you, how did it all start? Was you very young when you?
Oh, I was very little. So I was really lucky. In fact, that's what I'm doing a new video that I've been a little bit lax on doing my videos, but that's my next video that's coming out, is about how lucky I was to have been in an environment that accepted the gift, that accepted the idea that I could see beyond. Now, for those of you who don't know, I was raised American Pentecostal. So they oftentimes get a bad rap because they will wear the long hair and the dresses on the women, and they'll speak in tongues, and they'll roll on the floor, and, you know, all of that kind of thing. But they call people who know things, they call them prophets and prophetesses. So they won't say psychic and medium and witchcraft, and that's of the devil, that's bad. But you know things. Oh, you're a prophet. So I grew up in that kind of environment that cultivated the idea that you could know things. Genetically, both of my parents, they knew things. They did what, for lack of a better word, magic. They did magic, and though it was one of those things that you didn't really talk about a whole lot. It was just because it was a gift from God. It was a gift from God. It was just not a thing you talk about. But I remember I was about 20, I was in my 20s. And I told my mother one day, I phoned her and I said, Mom, you know how sometimes you look at someone on the street that is obviously crazy, and the person is screaming at someone that nobody else can see? I said, you know, I wonder sometimes if people think what they think about me, because sometimes I see people that I'm certain that other people do not see.
Oh gosh.
And Mom says, don't say that. Don't say that. People will, don't say that. I said, well, Mother, they already think I'm crazy. What else is new? So yes. So since my youth, I was able to accurately see things and say what was going to happen.
Was there a particular scary experience that you've had? Anything that's just come out of the blue and shocked you in your experience?
Well,
Sorry,
yes and no.
just turn.
There's
Sorry about that. Alexa, can you turn it down? Sorry, music's distracting. Alexa, turn it down. Okay, so I have to be firm with her. Sorry about that. Sorry, Richard. Carry on.
So earlier on in my not knowing what to call it, still, seeing things but not understanding what it was that I was doing. There was a beautiful theater over in a little place. They pronounce it, how I sigh at that, but they pronounce it Miami, but it's actually Miami, Oklahoma. And they'll argue, well, the natives would call it Miami, but it's spelled Miami. Anyway, the Coleman Theater, Miami, Oklahoma, beautiful, beautiful 1920s. It was being restored, big, beautiful theater, stunning. And I went on a tour as the ballroom was still pretty much in shambles. And the fellow that did the tour says, okay, go back here in this room. And I said, nope, I can't go in there. He says, well, I'll give you a light. And I said, nope, I don't care. I'm not allowed to go in that room. I'm not permitted in that space. And he goes, why not? And I said, I can't tell you. I just can't. He says, that's so funny. We've had psychics and mediums, and they all come through and they all say, I can't go in that room. And I went, well, I don't know, but that's just what I'm telling you. I can't go in there. So that was one time that was pretty frightening. I mean, I was young.
Do you feel it was demonic then?
Well, I feel like it was possible. So it was right on Route 66 highway, which at the time, it was the highway that went from one space, from California to New York. Like it was maybe not quite to New York, but it was across the continent. And back in the 30s, that was where all of the gangsters would do their hideouts, and in the 20s it was the rum runners, and so there was there was some funny business going on. And was it demonic? Maybe. It wouldn't let me go in, so I couldn't really tell you what it was, but it was not permissible. Go on.
There was a gangster museum in New York. We went there in Chelsea, and Al Capone, I can't pronounce his name. Al Capone, he run it there. Have you heard of it? It would be fun.
I have
to hunt there, I think.
Yeah, well, I've encountered other gangsters from that era. One of my favorite stories is that over in Pahrump, Nevada, between Las Vegas and LA, it's a little town called Pahrump, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just this tiny little. It's got 2 casinos. That's it. But one of them has Al Capone's car. It was not his car originally, but it's an old Lincoln. He got it from another mafioso. And then they have the death car of Bonnie and Clyde.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, so it's kind of special. But I went into the casino, on the casino floor, and I was waiting to talk to the clerk because I had to use the facilities. My eyeballs were floating. I had intended to go see the car, but I really needed to find where the facilities were. And so I wait in the queue, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this fella in a light shirt. He's got a fedora. He comes out from behind the wall over here and comes around me, and then he taps me on the shoulder. And I thought, oh, who is that? Oh, there's nobody here. Oh, Okay, well, somebody was, but okay. Apparently it's non-corporeal, but that's all right. And then I went back over to look at the car, and as it turns out, the photograph of Clyde even had his death shirt, the shirt he was wearing. It was the same shirt. It was the same light blue. It was his shirt.
Oh wow. Oh.
Yeah.
So
it was, you know, it was a different product of a different time. So Clyde Barrow, not he may have been a ruthless murderer, but it was the 30s, and you know,
was he as
people were
clear as
poor.
day? Was he?
I'm sorry?
Was he as clear as day?
As clear as day. As he was. I mean, I thought he was so clear. I thought he was someone working at the casino. And then when he walked by me and he hit me on the shoulder, I went, oh,
Wow.
okay.
That has happened.
I think the
when you actually see it physically, that is just an experience. It's amazing, isn't it?
I mean, I've had several experiences where I have seen them physically, where I felt that they. I mean, I didn't know if I was talking to someone who was bound to the earth, or someone who was living, or someone who was not. So I've had those experiences.
I was going to ask as well a question about I had an experience. There's an old farm in Southampton, that's where we're based, called Manor Farm, and as a paranormal investigator, we was doing the Ouija board with some guests, so 3 young girls, and on the board I wasn't very experienced at the time, and it was doing a figure 8. It was refusing to give its name, and then we asked it very, very childishly to go upstairs to the other group and scare them. It instantly said goodbye, and at the same time the K2 meter was going off at the same time. Now we asked it 3 times to say its name, and it wouldn't, and it said it liked to watch and it liked like bad things to happen. We said, oh, should we go to the schoolroom or should we go upstairs to the other group? And as we said, oh, go upstairs to the other group, the K2 meter was going absolutely crazy. This is a 16th century old farm. It's got an old farmhouse and a cottage attached to it. So there's a lot of activity there. Anyway, we go upstairs, and we put a young girl, for the scare factor, into another room on her own, and she screams, and down the side of her neck is 3 scratches. Now, in the event of that ever happening again, what would you suggest? Not go on the Ouija board, maybe.
No, I don't mind the Ouija board. I use it. I use it frequently in what I do. I think that the way that I would do it is to handle it sort of the way when I open portals, I have to make certain that they are there and can conduct themselves in a friendly manner, because otherwise then it's sort of like we've all gone to that party where there's one person who shouldn't really be there, and everyone is enjoying wine and cake, and that one person is sloshed and is stealing the flatware and or making an ass of themselves. And it makes every other guest uncomfortable. So the host has to go to that person and say, you have to go.
Yeah, that's it. You have to be sturdy with the spirits, I assume.
You do. Because most of them, even the ones, whether or not they're demonic or not, that's really of no. But you have to be firm. You have to say, I welcome these are my guests. This is my guest list. I welcome these people into this room, and always be respectful, and they'll be respectful to you. But you always have to be firm.
Do you believe in things like that?
Oh, absolutely, I do.
Sorry, I was told there are other things that walk this earth as well as spirits. Is there 2 different kind of things to keep an eye out for?
There's several different kinds of things. So there are, as far as hauntings go, there are residual haunts, right, which is sort of like it's like a skip on the needle, a needle on the record. It's like it'll blurb and it'll go back and blurb and go back. And they're non-cognitive. They don't know that they're dead. It's just a recording. It's just a space and time. Then there are spirits that are of the deceased that can be cognitive, and they understand a little of what's going on. They've held on to a certain place or an object or a time, and they can see, they can interact. Then there are non-living energies that we could call them interdimensional. You could call them angels or demons. Really, there's no separation between angels and demons.
Right.
They're just beings.
Are there these things that the watchers? My sister had an issue with something that just used to peep out with eyes and look and then just go away, and it used to terrify her as a child. This happened quite often, but I don't know. Is it a thing?
It is a thing. And on a personal note, that speaks volumes to me, because when I was a child, we moved into this country house, and the neighbors had told me about creatures with eyes that would come out and look at you.
Yes. Oh, this is brilliant.
In the caves, there were a series of caves underneath. So oftentimes they're spirits of the forest, or they're spirits of the wood, or some people call them fairies. Some people call them. Those creatures do exist.
Oh, well, it's good to know, because I was very curious, and I used to just shrug her off, and it would happen quite a few times during our childhood. These scary big-eyed things would just used to creep out from under the bed, and I just thought she was being a silly child. But no, to know that's really useful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I mean, and that can be really scary too. My half brother was living in California with my, before I was born, before my mother met my father. She was still married to her late husband. Well, they're now both late, but her first husband. And my brother would see these little creatures flying down on a rainbow, and they would dance around in his bed. As a kid, as a youth myself, my parents took in foster children, and Rick was one of the boys that lived there, and he had these little creatures that were his friends that would talk to him.
Oh.
And when he told me about them, I could see them, and I could see them because I asked him. I said, he had his hand like this, and he was doing things like this. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Well, I'm not supposed to tell anybody, but I can tell you. I have these friends." And then I started seeing them. And he goes, "Oh, see, there's the king. He's walking up up the wall and hanging from the ceiling fan," which it was just what I had seen. So when your eyes are open to it, then sometimes you can see.
I think in Ireland they call them wisps as well, don't they? They sort of
they do
lights that go through the woods, and are meant to be spirit.
There's all kinds of different creatures as far as that goes, as far as that realm. I have long had to deal with what's called Tommyknockers. Now they come from more of Wales. They were brought to the New World. They would go into the mines, and they knock like that. So I since I have 300 years of antiques, and I have a lot of things from the British Isles. The spirits sometimes attach themselves.
They do, yes. They can attach to all sorts, can't they? When we go to some of these old houses like Preston Manor, they've got like a cigar room, and they've got all these old artifacts, and especially some of these Victorian houses, and you can feel the energy from all the old artifacts in the pictures. I mean, it'd be right up your street, Richard-Lael. I had to correct myself then.
Thank you.
I was wondering if you're ever in the UK, would love you to come along with us.
Oh, I would be delighted. I haven't been to the UK in a very long time, well over a decade, but I do miss the UK. I would be honored to be back.
I mean, everyone goes to London, but there's so many better places out there. There's York,
I agree.
Wales.
I loved London, but my friends lived in Aldershot. I don't know if you're familiar. So I spent considerable amount of time in Aldershot, and I didn't get to travel much more north than that.
We've previously done East Drive as well. Have you heard of that one?
I have.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. So well, I've got a lot lined up for the new year. Well, if we can get out of this COVID lark, gee.
Right.
Fingers crossed. One last question. How are the boys?
Oh, they're fabulous. Like,
have they had any ice cream?
They are very happy boys. Let me pull it down here.
You'd like my colleague Rosie Cardy. She's got dolls, and she messes these Victorian dolls, and she messes them up, all scary looking. And she's got a piece of coal from 30 East Drive in the heart of one of them. So we're hoping that maybe it'll be a little, have its own character one day if we take it on enough ghost hunts.
I think it will. They act as vessels. I recently, let me actually.
Yeah. Have they had any ice cream?
Not lately. There's plenty of ice out there. There's not. They have been asking for it. So now I have to really do it. So right before I left, I was trying to save money and not spend money, but I went into an antique store. And I at first I passed him by, but I found this little fella here.
Oh.
I've got paint on my hands. I was painting, but I found this little fella.
Oh, he's handsome.
Isn't he lovely?
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, "Oh, you're so lovely, and I have 3 boys already, and I don't know if they would be ready to have another brother, but you're so lovely." And he was dancing. He was so excited. He was dancing. And I went, "No, I can't bring you. I would love to. I do not need another mouth to feed." And so I thought of him for a couple of days, and I just kept thinking of him hanging there all alone. And then I ran across another one that was similar to him on eBay, but for much more money. And I said, "Okay, all right, I will go and I will bring you home, and you could spend time with the boys." Now, they've gotten used to him now. There was a long car ride. They were not very happy.
Did they fight?
There was a little bit of tension there because they were in the box. So the whole back of the SUV was filled full of things, and there was an issue with a latch. It hadn't latched properly, and I had to go back and reshut it. And then I pull over for the evening, and the light, the coach light above had been turned on. And now, mind you, there was their box and the Ouija board above them. So for some reason, that light, and I said, "Why is that light on?" And I go back, and then I had to open the box and tell them, "Now, gentlemen, we are here, and we are driving, and I will get you out, and we will all talk a little bit later. But right now, I've been driving for 10 hours, and I must get some rest. No more turning the light on, boys."
Oh, that's brilliant. That's fabulous. Oh,
yeah.
Other than that, have they ever done anything unexpected? Do you think they might have their own?
Oh, I'm certain they have their own. When they want attention, they will kick the wall, or they'll kick the mirror. They'll click, 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 click. Gosh. Yes, they do that. And then also their eyes. You can tell when they're happy and when they're not happy. They're liking the attention. They're pretending. What, me? But they're happy boys.
Me, Daddy, really. Oh, fantastic! Thank you so much. I'm really quite starstruck. I really appreciate it. I've been dying to talk to you. I'm so nervous. But
oh no,
we're so passionate.
I don't mean.
My team, we love ghost hunting, and it's a great experience. And then actually to have someone on so professional like yourself, I'm not trying to blow her, but it's fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome, my darling. Thank you for having me on. Have a good rest of the show.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you, darling.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Right there. Sorry. Yeah, I'm still alive. Sorry, I'm just a bit. Oof, that was fantastic. Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you very much, Richard-Lael Lillard. Oh, I'm a bit starstruck now. I have to contain myself. Right, so we should carry on, shall we? Is there anyone else that would like to talk? Let's have a look. Any requests? Okay, so have all these people requests? Let's have a look. Sorry about that. Are you guys happy with that? It was amazing, wasn't it? Thank you. Thanks, Dan. So is there anybody else who'd like to talk about their spooky ghost stories? I'm going to look on and see if anyone's just requested. Damien Curtis. So Jennifer Downey. Actually, I'm going to bring on Ray. Oh, no. See if I can bring on Dan. Is anyone else? All right, Dan, I'm just going to bring you on. Hi, Dan. Oh, gosh, that was amazing,
Hello.
wasn't it?
How fantastic.
Oh, wow.
That was really good.
Okay.
Such an interesting man with so many interesting stories.
Yeah. Could learn a lot from him, couldn't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm going to see if anyone else wants to chat, but if not, I might just wrap it up. But
yeah, well done. Brilliant job. Well done, Sarah.
Thanks a lot, Dan. See you later. So is there anyone else like to tell their experience? Rosie, tell us what you experienced, Rosie. Oh, Rosie's gonna tell us about her experience tomorrow. She just said she's gonna do a demonstration of equipment and bring on Victoria, her very fabulous doll. I'd like to say thank you very much to Richard-Lael Lillard. That was brilliant. Thank you very much. And I don't think, I'll just check one more time if anyone else has any more requests. No, I think that's it. Thank you guys for joining. It's been a blast. Bye-bye.